Hi everyone, look what I've got. This goes back a long way, probably a couple of years, and that's all I've done. There is a lot to do, and I've been leaving it and just pretending it's not there, but it needs to be finished. It's a lovely sort of large flat bowl dish thing, modern glass, certainly not crystal, but it's heavy, it's quite thick, and it's decent quality glass. Now I will be using this, which is excuse my grubby dusty fingers, this is a sintered diamond. That's S-I-N-T-E-R-E-D, and not like some people don't hear me properly, or I've got a funny accent and they think I am saying centered. But a sintered diamond is the diamond grit going all the way through, so it lasts longer, and this is actually a very coarse one, so it should be able to chew nicely into this, at least to get the initial work out. I used a different diamond to start that. If I can't make it look the same, then I will be going over these as well. I won't bore you with it, but I'm going to be sort of flipping on and off around as I go, probably speed it up. Well, yes, speed it up. And so, because otherwise it's pretty boring. What is this? This is a Krosno. Krosno is Polish, I think. The glass is a Krosno glass. Right. Yeah, not a lot to say really. It's just a lot of work, quite repetitive, but it should be very pretty in the end. Okay, I think it's time. Let's get on with it. First up, of course, it's important to be well prepared, especially for that dust. And that's my dust extractor. Here you see my earplugs. Any old earplugs will do, and I've got them out simply because this is deafening. The larger the glass, the larger the burr, the louder it's going to be, trust me. Honestly, you have got to have ear protection, and probably best to make sure there's nobody around you trying to concentrate or even just trying to relax, because they won't be able to. It's deafening. And anyway, so happily I've got my earplugs in and off I go. Lots of water, and you can see even the water can't compete with the dust that I am producing here. This is a very coarse burr, and it is absolutely chewing into the glass. I'm hardly even pressing really. The main thing with this burr particularly is to just cover a larger area. Now, because of the shape of the glass, it's not easy for me to get onto the side of the burr. I can, of course, hold the drill slightly different. I did, if you hold it sort of from the top, and I've got my hand rather underneath it, but if you hold it from the top and hold it on its side, you can quite, fairly easily work it on its side, getting a large area at a time. But I was finding that I don't feel I have full control of exactly where it comes down. So no, I decided no, I'm just going to stick to this. It's not too bad. I'm getting quite a lot of coverage, even with just the point area, and I'm not worried too much about neatness at this point, because we're going to sort anything like that out later. But the strokes that I'm using, generally straight up and down, quite longish, and because that's going to be the variegation, the colors in the bamboo. Now this is not a botanical study, as I always say. It really is not. So Yes, I know these are probably quite stumpy segments of bamboo, but it doesn't matter. I like them, so I want to have lots of them. So the bamboo has short, stumpy segments. Anyway, so obviously I have varied the sizes a lot, and here is a skinnier one. It's totally random, this bamboo bowl. I have literally just scribbled these bamboos on. This one is a smaller diamond, but I can't begin to tell you how this is just gouging into the glass. And it's actually, without much effort, going really deep into it. And so I'm roughly getting this sort of bone shape, if you like it. And yeah, it's not difficult. There's a good old golf towel, a prize from 2012 something, I think. Right, here is an even smaller diamond burr, and I'm now going over the edges, just making sure that they are nice and neat, because you can see what's coming, can't you? Well, have you spotted them? There they are, some notorious chippy bits, and this is very simply down to the very, very rough diamond I was using to begin with. And no, we do not want chippy bits, so easily just obliterating them and creating a nice, neat edge. Now, incidentally, the bamboo is growing from the inner part of the bowl to the outer edge. So I'm basically engraving these upside down. And having said that, also, I'm engraving on the bottom, the base of the glass. I am not working on the top of the glass. This is underneath. I have intended the long streaky effect because if there are any variations of colour in most bamboos, it's lengthwise, and I think that this will help with the overall effect. So now I have a little Dura White in the drill, and I'm zooming along, just producing some little streaks that are slightly darker, and just emphasizing a bit of the area where I'm going to add a different sort of effect in the joins. Now remember, this is where this little burr is running, probably at about 14 to 13,000 RPM, even less. I would have turned the drill down a lot. Otherwise it burns, and as you have seen in a previous video, it can suddenly go flying off the end because it's got so hot and fed up. So yeah, run it very slow. Here I have got a rubber, and I'm just simply running over the top and producing some slightly darker streaks. There is nothing specific about this, really. It's just effect. It's almost like a contemporary design. Here I have a soft rubber. You can tell there's bits of it flying everywhere. It's not my favorite one, that particular rubber. This is a teeny tiny little disc-shaped diamond, and it is quite sharp, and I am cutting quite deeply into the joins because it has like a little bit of foliage flap that's sort of in the joins. And any botanist out there is probably having absolute nightmares because I have got no idea what I'm engraving, but I'm engraving it. I don't know what it's called. Sorry, guys. It has these little bits that come out the side and sort of flick slightly up. Remember, as I said, I'm engraving upside down, so they tend to stick out and up. I love the fact that there is variation in texture and variation in that we've got great big areas, chunky areas of engraving, and in amongst that these very fine, tiny little deep streaks. Now you need to be careful. Don't get carried away with this. I'm very careful doing this because this is a very sharp little burr and it digs incredibly deep very quickly. And I can get really excitable and start working very fast and putting too much pressure on it to really, really get stuck in. And that is where in the past, occasionally, I've come short for being impatient. Especially when I'm working on a very large, very monotonous design. I do like variety, I must admit. So I can get very bored doing something that is monotonous and repetitive. So I have to be very careful that I don't get faster and faster and heavy-handed with it. Now here I am comparing the ones I had done before with the ones I have just produced now, and they are nowhere near as deep as what I have just produced. Now you can't tell because obviously it looks flat to you, but I can tell with my fingers just feeling them that it's quite a different texture, and you'll be able to see from the other side easily that it is shallower. And so therefore I am doing as I thought I would have to do and what I said I would have to do, and that is just going over them just to bring them up to the same sort of effect as what I've just done. So here I've got that largish, not the very long flame shape, this is just a little round one, and it just chews beautifully into this glass. So zooming out and zooming along at 200% of normal speed now. Just a snippet here and there of the rest of the bowl, just the basic shapes. You will notice that I haven't gone right to the edge all the way around as yet. I will do that a little bit more carefully later on and sort of blend it into the edge. I'm not quite sure how I am going to finish it yet. And I also haven't come up into the base of the bowl yet either, because that's quite awkward. Yeah, I'm not sure how I'm going to finish that. And then on the very, very bottom, you can see I have sketched some leaves, and that I will be doing once I've finished the outer lot. Once I get it stuck into the leaves, of course. There are a lot of leaves. And you can see the ones I have done before, I hadn't quite neatened them up. They all need to have... I've got to look at all the points of the leaves and make sure that they are nice and neat. I noticed that my magnifiers are peeping into the screen, and that is because I haven't actually even got them down over my eyes, and I have no idea why I put them on in the first place. It's pure habit. But of course, this is really large work, and therefore I don't need to be getting close to see fine detail. It's only really, I suppose, when I get down to the points of the leaves and the little stalks and that sort of thing. So it's quite funny. I wondered why I could see the top end of the magnifiers. It just didn't make sense. I thought, oh, for goodness sake. Totally unnecessary. But still, I've got my glasses on, and of course that is important to make sure you've got something on your eyes, really, just for safety. I didn't point out earlier on that, in fact, the burr that I'm using now is the one really that has created most of those streaks. I had... I think missed out part of the video where, as you can see now, I'm going over what I had done with a wider burr, and I'm using the smaller burr now, slightly smaller, it's still quite a big one, and I'm creating these streaks. So that's quite an interesting looking, looks like a spider actually. I'm absolutely covered in dust. And of course it's been wet dust flicking up. And there you can see our progress so far. That is looking quite interesting. I really like this, and I think it's going to be really pretty. Hope you enjoyed that, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.